Wartburg College will host a special guest visit on campus that will focus our attention on a part of the world we normally do not hear about. Our guests are also unique because they are dignitaries attached to a small nation in Eastern Europe. They will be offering 2 opportunities to learn more about this part of the world. Joining me now to talk about these opportunities are Dr. Paula Survilla, Slide Professor of Humanities and Professor of Music at Wartburg College. Dr. Survilla also serves as the Executive Director of the Center for Belarusian Studies. Dr. Survilla, what is the significance of these events and why are we bringing them to Wartburg College?
Well, I think one of the primary aspects of this that makes it significant is that we're actually paying attention to a part of the world that normally does not get a lot of attention. In fact, the country of Belarus is significant for its strategic position. It's significant in terms of American policy and the changes in the EU. And for those reasons alone, it seems fitting that we should be able to explore this country in a university environment. It's also significant because through our interest in this country, we're able to bring some very unique figures onto campus. We have dignitaries coming, 2 presidents and a former ambassador to this country who will share their knowledge, but also will share their proactive stance on trying to change the conditions for this country now.
Now, why don't you tell us more about this part of the world? Our focus will be centered on Belarus, a small but strategic country in Europe.
Right. Well, Belarus sits at what we call the crossroads of Europe. It is positioned, for those of you that don't know, it's positioned just east of Poland, north of Ukraine, and south of the Baltic countries, Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia. And then to its east sits Russia. And because of this position, it has had a very, I would say, turbulent history, mainly because all of the powers around it have recognized that holding this territory has been important, even though Belarus itself has never been an aggressor.
Now, I want you to tell me a little bit about the role that the Center for Belarusian Studies plays in all of this.
Right. Well, this is an interesting intersection between politics, the desire for civil society, healthy, the democratic growth of civil society, and the role of higher education. The Center for Belarusian Studies is a non-governmental organization that looks to encourage the development of civil society in Belarus through higher education initiatives. So the idea is that really a healthy civil society depends on an educated population, and definitely a population that has access to knowledge and to critical knowledge at that level. And so we are basically developing and supporting initiatives that offer these types of experiences to Belarusian students from Belarus, but also that offer knowledge about Belarus to the public at large.
And part of this educational experience that we're talking about will take place right here at Wartburg.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about 2 events. You mentioned them earlier a little bit, coming up on Thursday, January 16th, the first of which will be the Michaelson Briner Kildahl Symposium on Thursday at 11:30 a.m. in the Lyceum at Wartburg.
That's right. We're very excited about this. This first event on that day, on Thursday, actually features retired Ambassador David Swartz. David Swartz was asked to come and speak because he was the first U.S. ambassador in Belarus after the end of the Cold War, when the Soviet Union was dissolved. And he's coming to speak to us not only about aspects of his 29 years of service in the Foreign Service, but also to make connections with us and for us between this type of work, this type of Foreign Service advocacy, and the importance of the humanities. How the humanities play a role in empowering the toolkit of someone in his position. So we're very excited that he was able to come.
Now, in addition to Ambassador Swartz being on campus, as you said before, Wartburg will be hosting 2 presidents.
That's right, and they're very unique, each one. The first I'll talk about is Stanislau Shushkievich. He was the first head of state of an independent Belarus at the close of the Soviet Union period. And he's very, very important also because he was instrumental in disarming Belarus at that time. And he will be coming to hear David speak, certainly, but also to participate in a very special event. With him will be President Ivonka Survilla. And she holds a very specialized position. She is actually the president of the Rada of the Republic of Belarus in exile. Belarus has an exiled government, also due to its very unique history, and she will be joining us also on that day.
And all three guests will participate in a panel discussion, Disengaging East-Central Europe from the East, European Security and North American Interests, the Belarus Model. That'll happen at 4 p.m. in the same room in the Lyceum at Wartburg College on January 16th. Tell us about that a little bit.
Well, I think it's going to be a really unique opportunity to see these three figures interact with one another and actually engage in the current situation for Belarus, to talk about what it means for this country to be placed where it is in relation to the climate in the EU, in relation to American policy, and also in relation to the powers to the east. How Belarus sits in relation to Russia and to some degree in relation to China. So we get to see kind of on the spot, in real time, actors, advocates for Belarusian policy, for policy that will have a positive effect on this country, come together and speak to each other and with us about these issues on Wartburg campus.
Now, there's a lot of people there's a lot of opportunities for people to get involved and get engaged. What is your hope that they will learn, the outcomes of all of this?
Well, I think that I hope that they become more aware of those countries in Europe and in Eastern Europe that have such a role to play, but that really don't get the kind of attention in the mainstream media that certainly we would like to see. And so from a basic educational perspective, I think that that's one of the benefits of this kind of event. But I think from a historical perspective, it's also so unusual to be in Waverly, Iowa, and to have these people come to you. You know, to have an environment where you get to go and listen to two presidents and an ambassador talk about the real-time challenges of a nation in Eastern Europe. And I'm hoping that certainly not just the obvious, you know, our history students and our political science students, that people become fascinated by that opportunity, because it's not going to come around too often basically in the Midwest. These types of meetings don't happen all that often. They're usually in the purview of the East Coast or the West Coast. So we're really excited to be able to offer that here at Wartburg.